Laugh out loud, it's the place to be, where geeky minds meet so naturally. From pixel legends to blockbuster heart, dive right in, let's set this vibe apart.
Laugh out loud, it's the place to go, where you just kind of stumbled on the BM show.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Da, 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 da.
Okay, that's actually kind of a good segue into the first thing that I want to talk about. I don't know if you've been looking at our comments, but evidently somebody called us out as the Beavis and Butthead of reviewers. So I just want to say, we used to be AI slop. now we're cartoon characters. I'm okay with this. I think this is great, but I do want to make a correction to that person who put that. You spelled it wrong. It's I would say Benvis and Mikehead, and I'm okay with that. So did you even see that comment, Ben?
The Beavis about that one? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I seen all the comments.
Okay.
There's a guy. There's this guy that, like, he used to go to my church, and he would sit there on Facebook and say all this shit all the time. And then when you saw him in person, he would never. He would be like he's so like being nice to everybody and all this other stuff. And then so he disappeared for like the whole Christmas season. Like, I didn't come at all for Christmas. And then he shows up right after Christmas, and I was ready to give him a built-in excuse. It's like the holidays are a hard time, but I have trouble with the holidays too. And it's like you kind of like, maybe this would be a time you do disappear. And he goes, "Oh, well, I've been sick for 3 weeks." First of all, the 3 weeks, he goes nothing, like I said, does nothing but badmouth people. And then he comes back after 3 weeks, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've just been sick." And I'm like, dude, you act like just because I don't react or comment to your Facebook, it doesn't mean I don't read it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't say something because I would come off more of an asshole than you are if I said what I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were times when I'm like, I can't leave this message, I want to leave him. Because I might be the guy who drives him to suicide. Because you're really pissing me the fuck off right now.
You know what you could do? You could tell him to bring print out a list of insults that you said to him, and then go ahead and sign it.
I love that. Oh my God. I was watching his whole monologue about that, and I'm like, this is great. So Bill Maher, he is not on the same side as Donald Trump, but he has a respect for him. And I'm like, we're back to getting respect for the other fucking side. It's been forever, and this is where it used to be, where it was like, I don't like what you're trying to do here, but you know what? I respect you in the position, and I respect that, you might do stuff I don't like, but like, you're not an idiot in there. You're not like, like we just hired Jerry off the fucking bus line to go do this job. Jerry would do a bad job. Jerry's a good guy. He's really smart.
I just kind of love how he just like blasted all the people in that monologue, the people that are like that, where they're like so one-sided that they're so anti the other side people. And he just totally tore them out, no matter what side of it you're on at that point.
It was funny though. I used to have a favorite Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is my favorite Democrat, she is now in the Trump administration and is now a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love Tulsi Gabbard.
I was going to say Rogue.
Rogue?
Rogue, yeah. Think about her hair.
Oh, yeah. My pastor's wife, she's starting to get the same streak of gray hair, like in the exact same spot that Tulsi has it. And she's not, because nobody would copy someone's style of getting a gray hair. So I'm not like, before that even comes up, no, I know I'm not going to accuse her of copying. But I'm like, I think she colors it, and I'm like, no, let the gray show, because like, look at Tulsi. Tulsi's pulling it off.
Yeah.
She's had that gray hair since like for as long as she's been in public office.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just part of her look. It's just how she is. One time she did I think she tried to cover it up, And then like a week later, it was back again. And I'm like, yeah, because somebody went and said, well, what happened to your gray streak?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, people like it? It's like, yeah, it's you. It's part of who you are, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when someone makes a cartoon of you, I know it's you.
Yeah.
They have a gray streak in there.
I just want to see her get up there and be like, I saved your life. No, you didn't.
Who said that?
The dude, that was in the X-Men movie.
I saved your life.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're going to be doing a Should You Bother for X-Men eventually soon.
I watched X-Men years and years ago. It's been so long. It's like, there's only 17 of those movies, you know.
That's what I'm saying. I think we might have to do Should You Bother, because I think it's about time we sat down and watched it. That would actually probably be a good one to do with Should You Bother, since it's been so long ago.
Even like do all of them, because the first one probably still holds up, and I know like I think it's like the second or third one, or maybe the second and third one are not that particularly good. One of them like really like does not hold up well. Also, there's the Origins one with Wolverine that doesn't hold up well. Like, there's a lot of them also where canon's completely thrown to the wayside. They actually had to do a lot of twisting and turning to fix the canon on it, which I think they kind of did. They made it all like there's multiple. They did the usual answer, which is to say a quote. It's lazy booking. It's lazy writing. They go and say, "Oh, it's the multiverse. That's why everything's different in these movies. They're just different parts of the multiverse." It's like that's such laziness. That is so lazy. Especially since everybody did it now. Everybody. I mean, the X-Men were the first ones to kind of do it. They didn't really even call it the multiverse. They just went and said, like, oh, you went back in time and changed stuff, so now stuff's different, which is the same thing as multiverse. You know, at least they did it first, but now everybody has some kind of multiverse where there's 15 different Spider-Mans, you know? It's like... Oh, the one that really showed is you watch Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine, and there's a million different Deadpools. That movie... That's the one thing that they do the best of, is they take the piss out of the whole multiverse. Because how many different Deadpools do you need?
I would go with 0, to be honest. But that's just me.
You know what? I haven't bought Deadpool and Wolverine on disc, and I don't know if I'm going to, because this whole thing with Blake Lively kind of, like, even though I didn't know who the hell any of these people were really ahead of time, once I found out the whole story and everything, and how they were making fun of the guy by making a fake caricature of him in the movie, I'm like, you know what? I'll wait till I find it at Goodwill, and I'll just pick up this movie for like $5, and not give them and Disney not give them a dime. It's just bad enough that Disney's my kilo company. I have Hulu Live TV, so technically I pay Disney for Disney. I pay Disney for the Disney Channel.
All right, so I wanted to jump to another thing that I wanted to mention, and I don't really want to go political, but I got to mention this. So Coachella is going on right now. I don't know if you heard about this, but who showed up at Coachella?
Hillary Clinton?
Bernie Sanders.
Oh.
Okay. All right, so here's the thing, is that, and I'm not going to knock on like Bernie Sanders if you're a Bernie Sanders follower. It's the fact that it is Bernie Sanders.
I used to like Bernie Sanders, and he's one of those where he just kind of went the wrong way with a lot of stuff. Like he had a lot of good stuff to say in 2016, and then now it's just like he just sounds like the rest of them, where it's like, well, we gotta stop Donald Trump. He's the most evil man ever. It's like, well, why don't you come up with other ideas?
Well, that's what you talked about, but I think it's the fact that it's Bernie Sanders that kind of tells you about the acts that you're seeing at Coachella. And it makes it sound like, you know, these acts are super old. That on the band.
It does take the youth out of the whole event. Like, what was the other one? Burning Man? It's like,
yeah.
There's guys in their 40s going to Burning Man. And I'm like, well, then it's not a young people, not a young people event anymore. If you got old people going to it, not that I'm in my 40s being here is old, but I'm certainly not in my 20s anymore. And there's a lot of stuff that the 20-year-olds are into that I don't get, which is natural. If I got everything, I literally just watched a video. My pastor sent out a video where they had a discussion about how the new changes in what is considered to be cool And it was two guys who were about our age, maybe a little younger. I think they were in their 30s, actually. And they were talking about certain change in taste over the years and how things have changed again. And the big thing they were talking about is plants on stage at church has become popular again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking with my pastor, and he went and said, you know how hard I fought to get the plants off the damn stage? And now I got to put them back.
They're coming back.
And I'm like, well, I like the plants myself because it adds color. And it's kind of there's dull moments in everything. I don't care how exciting of a performer or a pastor or whatever you are. You can't sit there every single time you do this and do the most bang up job. Not that he ever does, not to say that he does like a horrible, like, oh my God, get me out of here. But there's times where it's not as exciting. It gives you something to look at. You can look at the plan for a minute. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of why plans are a good idea. I don't know. It just gives you, it adds color. That was the only thing I could think of. It adds color.
How about oxygen? It adds oxygen.
That too. Well, they're not going to be real plants. If we put real plants in, we have to put somebody in charge of watering them. But if we get fake plants, we just set them and forget them. Dust them.
Then get fake plants and put like a fan underneath the plants and fool the people thinking that they're giving oxygen and they're real.
Yeah, I'm like thinking like, okay, I understood why they took the plants off.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes it look like we're in the wrong decade. It makes it look like you're in the 70s. Mm. But the thing is, the tastes have seemed to be going backwards. Like the 80s were really hot for a minute. Maybe the 70s are hot now. Mm-hmm. Maybe the kids are going to start walking around with bell bottoms and smoking joints. Well, they smoke joints already, but they vape joints, what I'm saying.
And watching the Brady Bunch movies.
Dude, I love the Brady Bunch movies. I had to buy them. I was thinking about I was thinking about it like 2 days ago. I'm like, what movies do I still want to get that I don't have yet? And I'm like, the Brady Bunch movies. They're one of those. They're just so stupid. They're funny. I love it. I love fish out of water scenarios where you get like somebody who is in a place they really shouldn't be, and how the world reacts to them and how they react to the world. And that's why the Brady Bunch is funny.
I haven't really watched them all that much. I've watched enough to kind of get an idea what they're about. And I do like the fact that they capture the Brady Bunch, but then they do a new style to it to where it's just not the Brady Bunch at the same time, because they give the characters these certain types of personalities, especially I think it was Jan. That was just
Martian.
I mean, it does the Brady Bunch good with a new take. Now, sometimes new takes might not be good. And that's why I want to do a quick plug, because I just wanted to mention that next week we will be talking about Saved by the Bell, the new series. Is that going to be good or is that going to be bad? We're going to have to find out.
I watched it when the first season of it when it first came out, but I haven't watched it since, and I haven't watched the new season of it. So far, I think they've only done 2 seasons, and I think it's gotten okay. That's the problem with streaming, is you got a lot of these shows, and who knows? Maybe it deserves a 3rd season. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't really deserve a 2nd season. That's one of the things we'll talk about. But you see these shows where all of a sudden they just disappear after 2 seasons. When they're leaving on a cliffhanger or whatever, because the parent company had some financial problem or something, and they couldn't. They had to cut costs, and they cut this series. Like when Warner Brothers cut all those costs, they had movies that were done. They were done, ready to be shipped to the theater, and they pulled the whole thing. Which they're bringing one of those movies back. That's Coyote versus Acme. Mm-hmm. Is actually going to get released, and it's supposed to be the greatest Looney Tunes movie ever created. Mm-hmm. But I've never heard that before. But then again, though, we've heard so much about this movie that was supposed to never come out, and now they're going to release it. Maybe it is good. It's towards the hype, because I do find that usually the more you hear about a movie, the better it is, unless you're hearing only certain things about the movie. If they hit you with we don't show you any of it, but the New York Times says it was an epic in writing, and it just ... because there was more to that.
I always thought it was the other way around. I always thought the more you hear about it, the more they plug it, the more they know it's not good, and they want you to think it is good.
Also, depends on when they release it. If it's released, like summertime is perfect for movie time. People love going to the movies in the summer because there's air conditioning. But I think it's like January is like dead time for movies, and like after Christmas, because people go for Christmas and they go for Thanksgiving, but they don't really go for January. So there are dead times, and depends on how the movie's promoted. If this Looney Tunes movie comes out and they do not show any real footage, the movie's bad.
Yeah.
But if they show you just enough to whet your appetite and have maybe some of the best jokes, because that's what a trailer should be. Not all the best parts, but some of the best parts. Just enough to sprinkle in there to whet your appetite. We'll be able to tell you can tell by the trailer most of the time if a movie is good. If the movie trailer tells you the whole story, the movie usually sucks. And sometimes you'll see that where they'll tell you, and I don't mean like the premise, I mean the whole story. Like they're on their way to get home, but they go through an adventure, and at the end they find love. That movie probably sucks because they just told you what the whole movie's about.
A tale of soul and sword, eternally told.
But then again, you never know until there's sometimes they promote the movie badly. It depends on who they hire. There's movies that are promoted badly and they're awesome movies, and there's movies that are promoted very excellently, and then it's word of mouth that ruins it, like the Joker movie. People were hyped to go see the new Joker movie because the first one was so good. Then people went to go see it, and they told their friends about it. Movie tanked. Same thing with this Snow White movie that just came out. That movie tanked too because people went to go see it, and they said that movie has no heart.
Evidently has a lot of not things that were in the previous one as well.
Yeah.
Heart.
Yeah. Well, I watched the trailer of it, and I gave my full review of the trailer for about 30 seconds, and
That's enough.
Yeah, that's good enough. Good enough.
All right, so why don't we get jumping into some things here?
Yeah, I'm dying to save some money on games, man.
Well, we're not quite there yet. We got to talk about something else first. So let's jump into as quick as we can. We're going to get through some stuff here. Let's talk Bloomin' News. Talk the BINI. Love my body and myself. And you know what? I still, whenever I see that B, man, I still think BM. Freaking BM show. Every single time I see that B, dude.
Good for you.
So, here's what I'm going to discuss really quick. I didn't think I was going to have anything this week, but lo and behold, they just put out, boom, the togless version of Blink Twice. So yes, we are still on Blink Twice. Now.
I thought you said topless version.
Oh no, it's not topless. I mean
I know they're loose in the Philippines and all, but my God, they go and have their girls just go out there topless doing a dance performance. That would be.
That's Ben's version. So what I'm going to
want to be involved in it this week? I thought
you're going to be involved soon.
Oh, now I know why.
You're going to be involved soon. Trust me. So before I say anything, I do want to point something out that I am a huge fan of BINI. You guys all know that by now. I really hope so. I am going to tell you. Now, you remember what I said about the Dos Veces remix. This is the togless version. What you get out of this, if you're thinking you're going to go into this and hear a whole ton of Tagalog, no. They translated one line. One line in the whole song. That's it. I mean, what's that going to set you back? You call up one member, I think it was Mika, they called like, hey, we need you to come down and say this line a few times into the mic. She comes down, does like 3 takes. They go, okay, we got one, copy, paste. That's it. And what's funny is when this dropped, there were people, I mean, I could scroll down and people are like just basically saying it's an April Fool's joke. So, I mean, I'm I'm totally thrown off. So what they did was they evidently released this as an EP. Here's a list of the EP on Spotify. You have Blink Twice, the Toglish version. The one line is in Tagalog, and that's it. You have the Dos Veces remix, which we discussed. We have the original one. You have it sped up, which you could do on YouTube. You have it slowed down to reverb, which you could do on YouTube and sit in a big room. And then you have the karaoke version or karaoke version, just depending on where you are, which is just mute the vocal track.
You have the right software.
Yeah. I'm at the point where I'm worried that this song is being beaten into the grave at this point. I mean, it's been 2 months. I think they really need to move to the next song on there, which we know Zero Pressure has been getting a lot of airplay and comments on it. But they're still doing this, and that's starting to worry me. So, I mean, if you guys want to say anything, leave a comment. I'm really curious if you think that Blink Twice is running too long, and if you think that or if you're happy that you got this version that has just the one line that's in Tagalog, and then the rest is still in English like the original song is. Because I'm curious that if there's anyone that's excited about this. And again, I will say I am a huge fan. I still love this group. I just know that sometimes, you whiff. And this might be a real whiff right here.
Yeah. Now, so that's, I'm sorry, I'm on the other side of the room. That's what they speak in Thailand, right?
Philippines.
Well, so what did they translate it from?
Is the whole song is in English.
Or they translated it in the Philippine language. Got it. Okay. So I still haven't heard the song. So
just to specify, Ben, they translated one line into, so about like 5 words in the whole song.
Okay, so all right, let me get back on the microphone here. You're telling me that this Filipino group first released a song in English, which is not their language.
Wait, hold on. Just to correct you, English is very prominent in the Philippines.
Oh, it's okay. So it's like the rest of like most Asian countries. Okay. Yeah. So it's not their native tongue, I should say. So they did the first one, then not their native tongue, and then what it is in their native tongue, they translated one line.
One line, and you got to understand, English is so common there. It's like you just even worked into the language. Like you'll have somebody talking this is like blah 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 da 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 da, and then like they'll just turn to English for like 3 sentences and blah 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 back. So it's
like
very common.
It's like Spanglish.
Not well, Spanglish. When I think of Spanglish, I'm thinking that they're taking the Spanish words and the English words and making the Spanish equivalent of it.
Oh, no. In Spanglish, isn't that usually they just mix English and German, or English? My mom does that, English and German, English and Spanish together.
It could be. But yes, that's the same thing. That's kind of how it is there.
Yeah, because my mom, she'll be talking to her sister, and she'll be like, and then I went and told them.
Yeah. I mean, it's not uncommon for their songs to be fully in English. So, but it's just kind of, and that's the thing. If you're listening to this, tell me something else. If you feel that just translating one line is kind of a slap in the face also, maybe not intentional, but if it feels like it's kind of like a disrespect to the culture, because I'm curious about that too.
But it's like, I never heard of where they only do the one that's, what's the point of re-releasing the song? It's like re-releasing the Barbie doll because she has a new hat.
Yeah. I'm just so confused what the reasoning behind this was. Rather than moving to yet a new song. I know this is still getting a lot of airplay, and especially I think international is getting a lot of airplay. But it's kind of like the Gangnam Style song. I think it got to a point where it becomes overplayed, and we got past that point. And I'm worried that this song might do the same thing.
If anybody went to our archive to listen to any of our past stuff, I think I talked about Gangnam Style, where I was like kind of upset that happened to be the hit song that was big when I was getting into K-pop, because then everyone just assumed that I was into K-pop because of Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, you must really like Gangnam Style. Like, it's okay. I don't hate the song, but it's not why I'm on this show. I'm not on this trip because of that. You know.
Well, for me, that song, I got into it before it became big over here, and I started listening to a lot of Psy stuff, and I was enjoying it for a little bit, and then I realized I'm only enjoying it for a couple songs, and I'm like, all right, I'm kind of done listening to this guy. Within 2 weeks after I said that is when it finally came international, so I'm like, oh great, I get to live the song all over again. But we're going to have some fun with Ben today, because as we established, Ben is not a BINI fan yet. I'm working on him, people, but he is not a BINI fan. So Ben, guess what you get to do?
Listen,
2 weeks ago, they released a little short. Rate their blinks. So Ben is going to give us on a scale of 1 to 10 how he feels about each member's blinks. So this is the first. Ben does it so you don't have to within the news.
This is our voluntold segment.
What's that?
It's our voluntold segment.
This is the voluntold segment. That's a good way to look at it, Ben. I'm glad that you unwillingly elected to do this, volunteered yourself to do this.
We did it at the church because all the people who were like who are on payroll, we don't volunteer for anything. We get voluntold.
Exactly. So Ben, you get to 8 members. We're gonna play their blinks. You give us how you feel on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm not sure who's first, and if you know what I meant by that, you're probably like, that wasn't a good joke anyway. So let's roll it. Here comes member number 1. Rate her blink. Scale 1 to 10. How'd you feel, Ben?
Give that a 9.
A 9. There we go. Member number 2 is coming up. One to 10, Ben.
8.
An 8. Okay, so I want to point something out. Last time we showed a video, Ben said, oh, the girl in blue is really cute. He gave a different member a higher score than the girl in blue. So congratulations to the other member. You ready for the third one?
Sure. Another 8.
What do you give it?
8.
An 8. All right. Fourth member's coming up.
I shouldn't have started so high.
Ben?
7.
7. Do you want to go back and rescore the other ones a little lower?
This isn't really important. No, I don't care.
Okay. All right. Member number 5. All right.
7.
A 7. Member number 6.
This might be our first 6 coming up. Yeah, that's a 6. Stop dyeing your hair, kid.
That's a 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Member number, what are we on? Member number 7?
How many members are there in this thing?
8.
Jeez, okay. 7.
A 7, and the final one.
8.
An 8. And there's our winner actually right there with a 9.
There you go.
I'm not sure who that is, but I think it may be, yeah, okay. All right, that joke's dead now. All right, so that's it for the blooming news, but we're not done with the news. I want to do really quick, A Bandmaid's Tale. And this one, okay, Bandmaid's not going to have much news, but I did want to bring something out here that, and it looks like I may have not saved the bookmark. So this is going to get interesting. Let's see if I've got it. Yes, I do. Okay, I want to congratulate. Congratulations to Sadako. 40 years old or so, and she's still looking really good and really young. And I'm glad that she is still getting parts and roles in movies. She doesn't look a day over 7 days. Are you with me there, Ben?
A day over 7 days?
Yes. You remember who Sadako is, right?
No.
Okay, so Samara. So Ben does not remember The Ring. So we're going to have to rewatch The Ring.
I think we're talking about bandmate. What does that have to do with The Ring?
We'll take a look at the video, dude.
Yeah. Okay. So they're doing a thing within The Ring.
Exactly. So that was my bandmate news. It wasn't really that important, but I'm just glad to see that she is still out in the workforce making a difference.
Still out in the workforce.
So with that, now we can talk about saving money. How's that sound, Ben?
Yeah, let's save some money.
All right, let's save some money.
Ain't too much for eating change, Mike. I'm telling you, they're costing an arm and a leg. And without an arm, I can't play the damn thing, so they're killing me.
Well, that's ironic, Ben, because without a leg, I can't even walk to the system to put the game in. So let's talk about how you can save your arms and your legs. Then let's start with, you wish it. Weed Adam Sandler, Ben.
Epic Games.
Epic Games is where we're starting. So on Epic Games, now I'm not covering everything that's free because just like last week we talked about, there were games that aren't really, they're free games anyway. It's just like adding stuff to them. So I'm going to skip it. So the only game that's really a game that's free would be this one, which is River City Girls. I'm sure everyone's at least played River City Girls or knows of River City Girls, but if you haven't gotten around to it, you can save $30 now. You can get it free. Ben, did you and I play this together, or did I play this with somebody else?
I don't think we played this one. If we did, it was at your house. I don't think we
did it at my house. Yes.
Hey, with it recently.
Okay, so yeah, I'm sure you would have remembered it because the person I played it with, we really just like cringed at how bad we thought this was. But, you know, everyone has different tastes, so you might actually dig it. So go ahead. If you want to get River City Girls, it's free. Go for it. Coming up next week, Botanicula. I don't know if that's like maybe it's a plant Dracula game. I'm not sure exactly. Adventure indie puzzle, which really doesn't say anything other than it makes it more of a puzzle as to what this is. Although I did see a bat, so perhaps. So anyway, it's coming up free this Thursday. So if you're curious, as well as, you know what, somebody get this and tell us what this actually is. Let's just do that. So that's it for Epic Games, other than things that were free anyway. So now we're going to Prime Gaming, which something big has happened on Prime Gaming. We're going to get to that really quick. But first, Endless Space Definitive Edition. So we've got a space simulator type game. It's a turn-based strategy type simulator. If you're into spaceships and you're a nerd and you want Star Trek in your underoos, you're probably going to want to get something like this so you can, I guess, build a ship armada. And these actually even look like Enterprises right here. So you may want to check this out. The next one, I need to stress to you. Last time we had Gravity Circus, I said, if you do not get it, give me your address so I can come over and beat you over the head with your keyboard. This next one, if you do not get it, I will shove that keyboard up some space that will make it so uncomfortable to sit for the rest of your life if you do not get it, because I have talked about this game, I believe, multiple times now, including just a couple weeks ago. It is now free on Amazon Prime, and that is Dread Out 2. Get this game, because it is awesome. Especially if you're into like horror, adventure type stuff. It's very much like Silent Hill and Fatal Frame and things like that. It's good. Get it. Also free on Amazon Prime is God's Trigger, which is a shooter overhead type of you're going to die a lot because it's completely unfair type of game. So if you like to lose multiple times, this might be a good game for you. And finally, on Prime Gaming that's free is Projection, which I haven't played this yet. I got it and I just never got around to it. Looks like a puzzle platformer type of weird type of game that's kind of like those old school puppet shows on strings type of things. So if you're curious on something that's got a little weird feel to it, you may want to give this a try. Let us know what you think. Maybe your opinion will persuade me to actually install it and give it a go. Now that's it for the free stuff. On the pay side, first off with Fanatical, you've got Build Your Own Easter Bundle, 3 games for $4.95. That's not a bad deal considering you're getting them $1.65 a piece. I'm not really familiar with any of these games, but if you are, then, I mean, it looks like the lowest one is about what you pay for 3 of them, almost. So you're probably going to save money by picking up that one as well as picking up a couple others just as a bonus. The next one, dude, this is another one to look into. Build Your Own or Handy Games 25th Anniversary Bundle. 2 games for $5. And I looked over this list of games. I know a lot of these games. And I got a lot of these games mostly free and put a good amount of time into them. So there's a lot of good stuff in this bundle, and I highly recommend looking into this one, picking up some games to play. I mean, if you get it to 5 games, it's $1.60 a game. You should get your money's worth by pretty much just checking out the options screen. Also on Fanatical is the Build Your Own Indie Legends bundle, 2 games for $5 as well, 2 here. These ones I'm not really familiar with, but hopefully you'll find something that you are and you'll save some money there. Now we go over to Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle, first off, they have a bundle, the Neon Lights bundle, which is pay $14 for all of these games. I know of Ghost Runner. I'm not really familiar with the other ones. But $14 for 8 games isn't too bad of a deal, especially because I think Ghost Runner is a pretty price, not really an overpricey game, but a little bit more pricey than $14. Also on Humble Bundle, I choose you, the Train Sim World 5. If you love trains, dude, look at all these trains. There are trains all over the place.
You choose me?
Exactly, Ben. $15 for 10 items. You can simulate trains that are, looks like all over the world and have a good time on rails. Final thing I want to show you. This is kind of interesting. This isn't video gaming per se, but I wanted to point this out because this came across my email, and that is, if you're a Helldivers fan, Helldivers 2, the board game, is being crowdfunded right now. So if you're big into Helldivers and you're wanting to get into board gaming, I don't know, maybe this is a way to go. I'm not sure the exact price. I'm sure we're going to see it, and it'll probably be around $150. Oh, no, $79. So $80 for probably just the base set, and then it's going to become even more expensive maybe after that. But if you're a Helldiver fan, boom, start board gaming. And that would be it for this week.
Cool. Good timing. It just got to where I can't go any further unless I go down in the garage.
So we are pretty far into this. I do have one more segment I want to do. I don't know if we really have the time to do it. How are you feeling, Ben? Are you super tired tonight?
I should be, but because I've been working on this thing like for the last 2 hours, like, a project can like give you energy.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Keep working on your project for a minute because we're going to do something that is very long overdue. And that would be whenever you game your LeMay. Yes, whenever you game your LeMay. Well, I will teach you the right way to kick bottom when you play. It's time for Mix and Mike Ticks. So a couple episodes ago, we were talking about games that we'll never forget. And I mentioned one of these games. And I mentioned it was the very start of the whole Mix and Mike Ticks thing where I really started, figuring out strategies for games. And that would be for this game right here, Ultima Exodus. This is on NES. It's also known as Ultima 3 on computers. What I'm going to show you here, I don't even think there's anyone that's actually is still playing this or is going to ever use it. If you do use this, definitely leave a comment below and let me know if this made it a whole lot easier, because this game is brutally hard, and I'm going to show you a way to get money in this game really easy that I discovered. Now, there's a whole bunch of steps to it. So one of the steps really wasn't something that I found, but I used it to get to the step that I found. So I am going to include that step in it. I'll let you know that that one was not created by me. And then when we get to what I figured out, I'll let you know when my stuff starts. So what you want to do in this is you're going to create characters. So when you create them, first thing you want to do is you want to create a ready-made team. It doesn't matter what classes you choose, just pick them and do like names like A1, A2, A3, and A4. Because you're going to use this party to basically just trade off some money. So whenever you create a character, the character will start with 100 gold. So as you can see, if you look at the very bottom of the screen, each one has 100 by the gold. So a really easy way to make money is to go into your commands and do hit select to gold, go to A4 and give 100 gold to A1. And then you're going to do the same thing with A3, give it to A1. A2, give it to A1. So at this point, A1 has 400 gold, all of them. Another thing I'd recommend doing, this wasn't in the whole steps to do, but is to go into their status and take off their cloth. So you're going to strip all your characters of their armor, because what you can then do is you can go to give from, A2, give their armor to A1. The reason why is the cloths sell for, I believe it's 60 gold a piece. Once you trade all this gold to A1, you'll go to the lady here and you're going to want to save the game. Then you want to reset, delete out the characters that no longer have gold and create a whole new team. You'll do B1, B2, B3, B4. What will eventually happen is you'll have 4 characters, A1, B1, C1, and D1, let's say, that will all have 400 gold from the parties that they were in. Your next step is to now trade all the gold from B, C, and D1 to A1. So what's going to happen is you should end up having a party like this. I know it's going to be confusing because I reorganized their names. And you'll have, your first character will have 1,600 gold. Also, go ahead and trade all your cloths to them so that they have 16 cloths, so you can sell that. Okay? So once you have that done, then what do I have with this party? Okay. Once you have that done, then you're going to delete out D1, C1, and D1. Now we're getting to the section where this is where I figured stuff out. Okay? So, you'll want to now create a party mainly of druids. And you could either do, and you also want to create a thief. When you create the thief, make sure to pour 25 points into his dexterity to max it out as high as you can at that point. With the druid, split it between intelligence and wisdom. And then you want to create this party with the character has a 1600 gold, because what you're essentially going to do now is you're going to take that gold, give it to either your thief if they're in the party or one of the druids, so that the druid has 1600 gold plus whatever gold is from the new druid you claim. So you should end up with like 20 or 2000 gold. I know this is sounding confusing. Just kind of do it step by step. Then once you have that done, this is where we're going to get into the real new area. You want to put together a party of either 4 druids or 3 druids and a thief if the thief has all your money. And what you're then going to do is you're going to adventure. So as you can see, I've made a party that's going to consist of 3 druids and my thief. And your goal is to go all the way across the map. And the reason why you want druids is because all the monsters that you're going to encounter are either going to be weak to one of 2 spells, which the druids had. They're either going to be weak to undead, if they're skeletons or ghouls, or they're going to be weak to repel if they're not. And this will instantly kill these monsters. You may have to cast this a few times without having to move. Like I said, your goal is to get all the way across the map, so you want to get to this city, which is basically to the west of where you start and a little bit south. And the reason why you want to get to this city is because this is the first one you're going to come across with a guild shop in it. And there's a very important item that you want to buy in the guild shop in big numbers. So when you go into here, we want to talk to this guy in overalls, and we're going to buy the magic key. And we're going to buy as many magic keys as you can until you run out of money. Okay. So once you run out of money and you've got all the magic keys, here's the good news. You want to then come out of that city and come back to this one again. So you're crossing back across the map, back to where you start and back to where you save the game. So at this point, you should have a party that's going to be, you should form a party that's going to be, whatever druids you had and the one thief. Now, here's the very, very important part. So as you can see, my thief, I didn't buy all the magic keys just to show you guys the example. But my thief is, I didn't show you how you can see the items. My thief has all the magic keys. Right now, I'm at the save point. Make sure that you put your thief in slot 2 in the party. Because if he's in any other slots, if he's in slot 1, 3, or 4, you just screwed up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the castle. We're going to head north from the save point and head east to this very weird area with the blue floor. This blue floor is a barrier. Whenever any character steps on the barrier, they will die. But that's okay, because these druids are just there. We're just there to get to the city. But here's something interesting. When you step on this barrier, boom, first character is dead. Your second character appears on the barrier. You just walk them off it to the other side. The next druid's dead, and the final druid's dead. So all that's left is your thief. And that's why you have to have the thief in the second slot so that they can make it across the barrier when they should. So now that you're across the barrier, you're going to encounter 2 doors. And you'll want to use a magic key on the door. And guess what's in the door? You just found the king's treasures. So start looting. Now you will get caught here, but you just gonna want to keep looting as fast as you can. You don't care if you get hit with a trap or with a cold or anything at all, because you'll find out why in a second. So we've got the first room looted. We're going to go to the second room, and we're going to use another key here, and we're going to go in and up, and they got me. That's fine. What we want to do now is die. That is our main goal at this point, is to die. It shouldn't take too long because these guys are very strong. So we'll just wait for my hit points to drop. And now I'm dead. So what happens? That's right. The bell of heaven just brings the thief back to life.
That's a trend on TikTok now. People playing along with those jingles that their washing machines make. Because I guess every washing machine now makes some kind of jingle.
Yep. That was perfect timing for it. Now remember, I had 1,200 gold because I didn't buy all the keys, but he died. However, he now has 1,586. If you do this right, you can actually loot about 1,000 gold a time. So now that he's back to life, what you do is go back and save it and create 3 more characters, loot their 100 gold from them, loot their cloth, and then go back right to that barrier. Make sure your thief is in the second spot. Cross it again so your thief gets across it. Loot the rooms. Let your thief die. Bring him back to life. Go back, save it, create more characters, rinse, repeat, on. And that's the quickest way I've found to actually get gold in this game. So there you go. If you ever wondered how to actually get gold in this game because it's brutally hard, that's your solution. And that is how I started down the track of Mix and Mike Dicks.
Cool.
And with that, that's all we got.
It all started with a big bang. No, it
all started with something so complicated. But it was worth it. So now, are you ready for our main topic finally, Ben?
Our main topic of the evening. Yes, I am. I'm ready to talk about the best $2 I've ever spent.
Yep, the best $2 I've ever spent. This is for anything that you bought on a severe discount, and it turned out to be well worth over that price. Now, I've done a lot of talking, and usually I'll talk about what kind of inspired it. I'm gonna talk about what inspired it after you, because I'm gonna give you an opportunity to go first, since you've been very patient, Ben.
All right. Well, my first thing that I could think of, the very first thing I thought of was I have a lifetime subscription to Sirius satellite radio. And when they first when they first started doing Sirius satellite radio, they were offering lifetime subscriptions. It was $500 for a lifetime subscription. And all of a sudden they announced that Howard Stern was going to be joining Sirius. So I went, and at the time I was a big Howard Stern fan, so I went ahead and I bought a Sirius satellite radio, and I bought the lifetime subscription, and then I talked my cousin to do the same thing. And OMG, me specifically got a lot of shit from family members. I'm leading my cousin down the wrong road. He shouldn't have listened to me. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. This is a waste of money. Sirius Radio is going to be dead in 2 years. Blah, 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 blah. And it's all stuff that really was like, these kind of were concerns of mine at the time as well. Like, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe I did lead them down the wrong road. Maybe this company will be dead and gone in 2 years. That was 2005. Sirius LA Radio is still around. Not you, Siri. Go away. Not you, Siri. Bye-bye. Siri started reacting. yeah, so the Sirius LA radio is gone. Being gone is not a thing. They're still around. They took over. They bought XM radio, and so what they started to do is they said, you know what, this lifetime membership that we gave you for $500, that was for the lifetime of the radio, not your lifetime, but the radio. And some guy took them to court, and he won. And after that, they said it's for the lifetime of the user. You could have unlimited radio as long as I'm alive. The thing's still working, and the way it's set up, I could, even when I pass on, I can hand it off to somebody. And they not only did they do that, they gave me because it used to be the most restricted access. Like you only got access to whatever channels you paid for when you signed up for it. I have access to all the channels. I have access to all the online stuff. The only thing I have one radio I can have active at a time of actual satellite radios, but for their online stuff, I can listen to it on as many devices as I want, but only one person at a time can listen. Like I can't go on my phone, play something, and then go on my computer and play something else. As soon as I start playing it on the computer, the phone will get cut off.
So now I'm not. That sounds like Spotify, which I finally cracked and became premium last night because I couldn't take the ads anymore. But so I don't know much about.
Well, this was before Spotify and all that started becoming a thing. It used to be because there was no online really at the time when satellite radio started really pushing. I mean, there was online, but not online streaming like there is today. It wasn't anything close to what it is today. Because it's 20 years ago, and you would actually have a little antenna you would put on your car, and you would literally get the satellite signal, and that's how you would listen to the radio. And it was as close to what we currently have now as you could have got at the time. It was like I compared it to getting cable radio. Because there was there's how cable TV had a channel that all it did was show music videos, and another channel that all it did was show family films, and another channel that only showed cartoons. Now you have a radio station that only plays stuff from the 80s, and one that only plays classic rock, and one that only plays classical music, and one that only plays talk shows. And it really did look like it's the future, and it's still around. So I guess it kind of was, just not as the future they thought they were going to have. Because they probably thought that they were going to be like, oh, everybody will have a satellite radio. Like, no, everybody has satellite radio in a car. Nobody subscribes to it. It just came with the car. So I think to the fact that I can still use it to this day. My cousin has it to this day. We both gave it to our dads. So like my stepfather has it in his car, and his dad has it in his car because we have streaming now. And we just use the app, but our parents don't. Our parents don't use the app. They want to use a radio. So, I think that the fact that I've gotten 20 years of use out of this, even for a couple of years, I didn't use it at all. But still, and the fact that my cousin he uses it every day. He listens to, I forget, he listens to they have the stock brokerage channel where all they talk about is finances and shit. He listens to that. I think we both got our money out of it and more. Because they want $15 a month for this service. So take $15, divide it into 500. Now I need Siri. Hey Siri, what is 500 divided by 15?
500 divided by
33 months of service. 33 months, that is just under 3 years of service I paid for. And I've been using it for an additional 17 years.
Yeah, and you're still going to be able to use it for quite a while longer.
I get to use it, and then as long as I, if I end up getting married and have children, I can go and pass on my username to the Sirius radio.
Put in your will.
Put it in my will. My last will and testament. My cousin, he's got a family, so I'm sure his wife probably, has access to his Sirius. I mean, you can only one radio on it. You can only listen to it to one spot at a time, but, he doesn't listen to it while he's at work. He listens to it while he's in the car. So, as I was saying, I used to give, my mom, I actually bought her a Sirius radio, a kitchen radio, and it did online. And for a while, we were using that in the kitchen. But apparently, I bought it. It's $150 radio. I bought it for $60, open box from from either Best Buy or Amazon. And the fact that it stopped working, that shows that like I probably should have not bought it for such a cheap price.
It wasn't a serious radio.
What's that?
It wasn't a serious radio.
Yeah, I wasn't that serious about it. They lied about the name.
That's not bad. That's really good.
Yeah, the Shitty Beatles. Are they any good? They suck. Well, it's just not a clever name. Yeah, no, I don't really have anything. I don't listen to it much anymore because I just kind of like listen to podcasts now. But it's nice that if I have no idea what to listen to, because there's times you're going for a long drive, like all of a sudden, like, oh shit, so and so needs me to drive an hour away to go do something. All right, well, I already went through all my podcasts this week. What am I going to listen to? I could just throw on the satellite radio and just listen to that if I want to. And there's one of my options. And they were, what's that?
Go ahead, sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so when they were trying to do the merger between Sirius and XM Radio, they had to get government approval to prove it's not a monopoly. And that's when they started the whole thing of, well, we don't just compete. We no longer have to compete against ourselves. We're competing against everybody else. And that's when this whole talk of we compete against sleep. It's like there's so many things to do now when you're out on a drive. You literally can, like, you watch videos if you want. I used to know a guy I worked with. He literally told me he watched YouTube videos the entire time he drove. And I'm like, how do you do that safely? And he goes like, well, most of the time I'm just listening. You only look at the screen once in a while when somebody's like, oh, check this out. Oh, look at the screen. Whoa, oh, the groundwork kid.
So let that be a lesson to you people. First off, the BM show makes a great show to listen to while you road trip. So, and second off, I now know what Ben will be doing if he was to ever, let's just say, get into a car and drive to the last blockbuster that's in existence. He has Sirius Radio to listen to on the way.
Yes, I could listen to the Megyn Kelly show, which I could also listen to everywhere else. Her manager is really good because she seems to be milking these people. I'm like, what did Sirius pay for? The fact that their logos on every single one of her videos, that's all they paid for. She's not exclusive to them. She's available on every other platform. In fact, it's a better experience on YouTube than it is on the Sirius app. What did they pay for with Megyn Kelly? What did they pay for? I have no idea what they paid for. They paid for her to have a studio in her house and to do her show however the hell she wants to do it. And have it released wherever. They have exclusive rights to it for like 4 hours before it can get released on everything else. Mm. So instead of getting the show at noon, you have to wait till 4 o'clock.
Ooh.
I know. What did they pay for?
There's people out there that would do stuff like that.
I'm like, if I ever had a chance to just have like a long conversation, it wouldn't be the first thing I would bring up to her. But I would be like, that would be eventually one of the questions of like, so how did your manager just like screw over Sirius so badly with her contract? Oh man, it's like when somebody's got like a Johnny Carson contract where they own the rights to their show. They only have to do 3 days a week and they get like 4 months off a year. That's what Howard Stern has. He has a Johnny Carson contract. And I call it that because Carson was the first one to have a ridiculous contract like that. That's what I want. I want the Johnny Carson contract. I only have to work 3 days a week. I get 4 months off a year and I own everything I do. And get paid for it.
So subscribers out there, get us more subscribers so that Ben can do that.
Yes.
He's depending on you.
I want ownership. Oh, I do have ownership in this. We shared ownership, but still I have an ownership in this.
All right, so I'm going to jump in now with one of mine because I'm actually going to now mention the one that brought this idea for the topic. And the reason why it's called best $2 I ever spent is because I actually did spend $2 for this. Surprising. Ben might actually know this one. And this is actually for a game that I picked up. So normally it's really not an expensive game, but I picked it up because it looked like it'd just be so super cheesy. And it was on sale for $2. And I just had so much fun playing that. And that's a game called Abyss School.
Oh yeah.
And the thing that's so awesome about this is that I paid $2 for this, like, I guess it was like a year ago. They're still making content for it. The developer is still very active in the game. It is totally cheesy like I was expecting it to be, but it's such a fun cheese. And so it's one of those games I had to beat. And then when they came out with extra content, I had to beat that too. And I've definitely gotten my $2 out of this and more.
Well, that's the goal. Is like you want to get what's the rule? The dollar rule. It was like how much entertainment you can get out of something. It was $1 a use.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dollar rule. But it was like how much it is like per hour. And it's like how much would you pay an hour for entertainment if you were to go to like the movies?
That's what I usually use as a classification. It's like a movie ticket nowadays is like $18. So if I could play a game.
So you're figuring you're paying $9 an hour.
Yeah.
So you're willing, okay, let's round it up, $10 an hour. You're willing to pay $10 an hour to be entertained. So if I buy something for $10 and I get 8 hours out of it,
mm-hmm.
I got my money's worth.
Yeah. So
and that's a nice way to look at it, because it actually makes me feel better about certain games.
Yeah, and I mean this game still looks like they're still going to do content for it. So great. My $2 is still getting stretched even further, and that's awesome.
Stretched out money, man. That's like
exactly. All right, what you got next?
Well, we reviewed it the other day. PCU.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on YouTube, if you go on eBay right now, in fact, I will go on eBay right now. In fact, I will share my screen so you could see as I'm doing this. You people at home, you folks who we love so much, we love all of you almost equally. Sorry, I was looking at eBay stuff while I was talking to you. So I'm on eBay already. So let's look up PCU on DVD. $17, $23, $15.95. Okay, that's what people want. And what my stepfather always told me, stuff's not worth what you want to get it for, is what you could sell it for. So what did it sell for? And with Airheads, people want $25. $15 with Airheads. Okay, that's a pretty good deal. $16. So it's like I bought it for $1. And look how much it's going for. $16, $19.99. So $16 to $20 is going for. Even here, $14 plus $4.63 shipping. So that's $18. Another one, $18, $19. So I think I made out really well on that. I wish it was available on Blu-ray, but apparently whoever owns the rights to it, Walt Disney Company, doesn't want to release it on Blu-ray.
Which is a shame, because I'm sure that movie is going to make a whole lot of money getting released again, because it's still such a classic, like we talked about.
My whole thought on that is it must have pissed off somebody when it came out.
Mm.
And that somebody is still in some position of power over the Walt Disney Company, because this was Touchstone. So this is Disney. And at any point, Disney can re-release it. They could put it on Hulu, and it's not on Hulu. You know? So they're holding it for some reason, and it has to be maybe the I don't think it's controversial, but I don't run Disney, and they're all a bunch of softies over there. Oh, here's one for $15. That's probably the cheapest you'll find it. Yeah, maybe they think it's too hard. It's too much for today's pussy culture to deal with. I don't know. Here's a deal. This is the one you should get. $15.95. I think that includes shipping. Oh, is it sold already? Oh, it's sold. These are all sold, but this is a good deal. Whoever got this got a real good deal, because the rocker, I see that going around for like $5 here and there. I've never heard of Going Overboard, but apparently...
That was Overboard. That's the one that I mentioned just earlier about Adam Sandler movie that...
Oh, okay. So that was an Adam Sandler movie, which just on the name alone, people will pay for. And you get this movie here, and you get PCU. So like that. So whoever got this deal, buying it from West Sacramento, California, there you go, shout out. They got a good deal there for $20, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got a better deal, because I bought this one movie, the only movie I actually wanted, out of this whole bundle. I bought it for $1.
That's the best, man.
Yep. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here in a second, because I'm going to talk about another thing that now I'm kind of cheating here because I didn't buy it, and my parents bought it, my mom bought it, but it's worth totally talking about in this. And you may be familiar with this, Ben, if you remember this at my place. Do you recognize this?
It's one of your desk.
This is my art table. Now, my art table, let me tell you the story about this. My mom picked this art table up back probably around 1990, 91 or so. Normally, art tables are not cheap. She got this at like a garage sale for $2. And this became my gaming table and like my hobby table, where I'd put together a lot of miniatures and such. And I just took this picture right now. So this is sitting right behind me. So I still use this table to this day. And, you know, it's been in every place that I've lived. In some, being used in some way. Whether it's, I've used this as a computer table. I've used this just to kind of stack stuff on, whatever. I've used it for recording as well too, to balance things on and have a computer on and so forth, for like recording music. So for $2, even back then, you know, you figure inflation out in that. Still, man, this thing's been with me for decades. And it's one of those things I'm just going to keep holding on to.
Cool.
All right, your turn.
I'm actually looking for it now. I made a short video on YouTube about this. Oh, here it is. I found it. I know I had it. Oh, I don't. Well, you can't hear me anyway, so I'm gonna mute it. So I'm not talking over it. And let's go back into Skype. This is times when I start feeling old, when I gotta like talk about everything I'm doing. I'm doing it. And let me go back over here and let me hear like this video. Okay, so this is a video I made. I went on eBay and I bought the eventually I will get my hand moving and actually take the damn thing out. Okay, here it is. I bought the WrestleMania anthology box set for like $50.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing that was wrong with it is that WrestleMania 1, the disc, to use a British term, the disc was knackered. It was pretty beat up. Other than that, everything else was in perfect condition, and it came with all the pieces that came with the original set, including what you're seeing here. I've never had any of those stills before, and I've had that box set in the past, but no one's ever kept the stills before. And I literally was like so psyched because I had some of these discs already, and the one that was beat up, I had one already. So I literally just swapped it out. Yeah, right here, you can see within the closed caption it says this one has an issue. I went and I just swapped it with the other disc one that I had, and I ended up selling off that other set that I had, because I like I said, I had extras. I sold all the extras off, and I literally made my money back that I spent on this box set by selling off the extras. And like I said, it was $50. And the only thing I could think of is that somebody broke up with their boyfriend and they were selling all this shit off, because it cost me $56. Guarantee. Now let's go over to our friends over at the UBTubi, or over at eBay. We're on UBTubi, and let's go and look up WrestleMania anthology complete. Okay, some of these prices are actually not too bad. But let's go over to sold items and take a look here. This one here, this is a lowball number, 107 plus $10 shipping, so $120. This one here, $100, but it doesn't have the outer shell. This one's from England. The English prices are always weird because they made more wrestling DVDs in England than anything anywhere else in the world. I could always, if you can't find it in the States, you could always find a British version of it when it comes to wrestling movies. I don't know why.
Wrestling is that popular over there?
Oh yeah, they love it. They love wrestling. Anytime they go to England with anything, they sell out stadiums. AEW can sell out a stadium with the shittiest show over there, so they must love it. If you don't, and you're finding this offensive, please leave a comment below and give us a thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. Any comments, positive or negative, it helps the algorithm. Thank you very much. Yeah, you can see some of these prices. Somebody sold it for $375. I bought it for $50. It's $50 just for these pictures. Just for the pictures. I got all 4 of them and the disc. These alone are $50. So, did I get a deal? Yeah. So, guy who got himself, guy who screwed up with his girlfriend, thank you for screwing up with the girlfriend or whatever led to this. Thank you. Unless it was someone dying. Thank you.
So, like, to watch everything that's in that box set and everything, how many hours is it?
To watch 20, mine has 21. To watch 21 WrestleManias, let's say average, they're 3 hours a piece. So you're looking like 600 hours.
Nice.
But you don't watch all of them because not all of them are good. Some WrestleManias are better than others. Like WrestleMania 11 sucks. Basically, if you have trouble remembering a match from it, it's probably because it sucked. Like I remember WrestleMania 3. Like 1 and 2 are not that good. You really, if you're gonna watch all the WrestleManias, which for you, like I wouldn't really recommend. It's kind of undertaking for somebody who's not a fan. But if you're a new fan of wrestling and you want to watch some of the old classics, start at WrestleMania 3. Don't bother with 1 and 2. The 1 and 2, they're still figuring out what they're doing. WrestleMania 3, they know what they're doing. They know how to do a WrestleMania now. And then 3 is awesome, 4 is awesome, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 is got some really good matches, but you could kind of see that's when it started to downturn. Mm-hmm. And you can actually tell when the downturn really happens. All of a sudden, Hulk Hogan's not in the company anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like when they start hitting their downturn, and then their upturn starts again when Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock is around. Mm-hmm. So you basically have like this couple years of like, WrestleManias. And it's always their best show. Like, even when I don't watch wrestling, which I've gone years where I didn't give a shit about wrestling, but I always watched WrestleMania because it's like I always watch the Super Bowl. I don't give two shits about football. It's their Super Bowl. It's just, whatever show they're going to do all year, this is going to be the show they're putting the most into. This is going to be the best show. Mm-hmm. So I will watch it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the years I watch it, I have no idea what the stories are. I'm as confused as probably you would be watching it. Why are these two angry at each other? What's going on here?
Just so they don't break their wall.
What I have right here, $185 plus shipping. This person sold it for $190 with shipping. Mm-hmm. And this is pretty much what I don't have this one piece that you see right here that I have my mouse on. That's like slip cover on the back is the only thing I'm missing, and my box is a little beat up. So mine's not worth this much, but this shows you how much that some people could get if you have it in mint condition.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's because they stopped making them. They don't make wrestling DVDs at all anymore. They stopped making wrestling DVDs in 2023. So any wrestling DVD that you see from WWE, gotta clarify that because I don't know if the other companies have stopped, but WWE have stopped. Anytime you see a WWE wrestling DVD, it is definitely out of print.
Gotcha.
And they're all going to be worth something. Maybe not much, but they're worth, Yeah. If you get it for $1, they're worth more than that, no matter which one. Okay, so that's that one.
Okay, so I'm going to take the screen now.
Just confirm I'm stopping my sharing. Go right ahead.
Okay, so as you know, I'm big on music and musical instruments and such. So I just wanted to bring this one up here. I bought a few guitars before I got this one, but I needed to I had a 12-string acoustic at the time. I needed to get a 6-string acoustic. So I ended up going to a shop called the Guitar Workshop, where there's a guy there that he is super good at working on guitars and getting them good quality for low prices. And I ended up picking this guitar up there because I played it a bit and I just loved it because it has a great bright sound to it. Even though it doesn't look like much, it sounds phenomenal, especially for the fact that I paid only $150 for it. And on top of that, it came with a really nice hard case as well, too. So I've had this guitar for basically 20 plus years now, and finally just am replacing it because I finally found a 7-string acoustic. So I don't know if I'm going to get much more play out of this, but to last for that long, still sounding great, for $150. I mean, usually when you want to find a good sounding guitar, you're going to be paying a whole bunch more than that nowadays. So, I definitely wrote a good handful of songs on this thing. So it's just been great. So, but I do like getting other instruments too. So can't help it.
One of the things I found within the past year that was a pretty good deal was I was at Goodwill and they had a PlayStation 3 Slim in their case for like $20. And I still gotta flip it, because I've been holding on to it just because I actually almost was trying to think of what I could do with it first before selling it off. But I'm gonna end up selling it because I can't think of what else to do with it. And what I ended up doing is I put a solid state hard drive in it. And I have an old PlayStation 3 controller. I'm just going to include the controller and power cable and the AV cable, and I'm going to try flipping it for like $100, and I'll probably get that. So that's a 70. As you can count all the components that I threw into it, it's probably a $50 profit, $40 profit maybe.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, when you have it with the solid state, there's people on YouTube who are like, the solid state does not do any improvement on the PlayStation 3 whatsoever. It can't go fast. The drive can't go fast enough to make any real difference. Mechanical hard drives have to spin up, and they have to seek. And the spin up time is not existent, and the seek time is insanely fast compared to a mechanical drive. There is a huge difference between having a mechanical drive and a solid state in your PlayStation 3. It plays it up because I did both. I've experienced both. One feels like smooth like butter, and the other one little flaky.
I kind of liked how you did that voice in like your Bernie Sanders almost example about when you're saying that it doesn't do anything.
Well, it makes a huge improvement.
Yeah.
You should feel lucky. Some countries, they don't have solid state hard drives. They only have mechanical.
Thank you, Bernie. Now go back to Coachella.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Coachella. I'm hanging with the young people. I said, hello, fellow young person.
All right, so I got
yeah. That meme is hilarious. I was looking for it, and it was the first. I have some of the 30 Rock episodes, and apparently I do have the one that meme is from, and it's a funny episode. Sorry, God.
No problem. So this next one I wanted to bring up. This one's an interesting one because it's more about the story than it is what I got. Because this goes back to, man, I must have been about 15 years old or so when this happened. And no, maybe I was about 17 years old. But so I was late to getting a Super Nintendo. I didn't really have a need to get one at the time because I was fine with still playing my Nintendo. Eventually I cracked because I played Final Fantasy IV and I really liked it. And I ended up buying my buddy a Super Nintendo. for not a bad price. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't too expensive, and buying Final Fantasy IV for $20. But he also had Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Now, Mystic Quest isn't that great of a game. I think it's okay. I think it gets a little bit more hate than it should. But his brother was the one that owned Mystic Quest, and he offered me Mystic Quest for $20 as well, too. And at that point, I wasn't sure about it, so I asked if I could borrow it for a bit. And I took it back. And usually when I borrow a game to see if I like it, I don't spend like a whole lot of time deciding like, oh, like I need a week to figure it out. I usually know within about an hour if it's something that I'm going to want to go on with or not. So that same night I called him up and I was like, I don't think this is a game that I really want. And he's like, I'll sell it to you for $10. I'm like, nah, it still is not really what I want. And all of a sudden he jumps and he goes, I'll sell it to you for $1. And I just went, okay. But one catch. Can you come here and pick up the $1? So I had him go to his mom, ask to be driven over to my house. He comes up to the doorstep, knocks on the door. I open it up. I give him $1. He turns around and goes. I will never forget that night. I'm like, I didn't really want this game. But, for $1, whatever. And I played through that game probably about 4 or 5 times. So I definitely got my $1 worth out of it. Like I said, it's not a great game, but I wouldn't have spent $20 for it. And I wouldn't have gone over there to give him his $1. So he earned his $1 that way.
So Nintendo Online. You ever use a Nintendo Online service?
No.
It's actually one of the cheaper ones. It's $20 for the year. If you get the basic one, it's $50 if you want with the expansion pack. Which, granted, compared to like what is it, $15 a month to do Game Pass and stuff, like compared to what the other ones charge. Of course, you also you get what you pay for. You don't get as much as the other places.
Yeah.
But the year of Mario's 35th anniversary, they released Mario 35.
Mm-hmm.
And that would probably be the one year where I really, all of a sudden, Nintendo Online became a bargain because I became a competitive Super Mario player.
Wow.
Oh, dude, my hands were killing me. I was beating my hands to death, which would, for somebody who's their whole job, if I was on being able to use their hands and have a dexterity, probably not the best idea. But I went and I was just playing. Like I would wake up if I had a day off. I'd wake up and I'd spend the whole day playing competitive Mario 35, like all day. Yeah. So
against others.
what's that?
How are you doing against others in it?
Dude, I was getting like number one. Like I wasn't like the best in the world, but I was really high up there. Like depending what time I was on, I could beat everybody who was online.
Nice.
But it depends. If you go on like during prime time, no, I wasn't doing as well because all the professional gamers were on. But if I got there at like 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm beating all these kids.
All the overseas kids are asleep.
Yeah. It depends on what time you get there to do it. But yeah, you can I did pretty well. I had a lot of fun doing it. Like I said, I played it so much my hands were hurting. But it was just like, yeah, because normally I get these online memberships and I don't feel like I ever get my money's worth out of it. And this time, I made I made a mockery of their all-you-can-eat policy. You want making a mockery of our self-serve policy. Love that line.
I don't know that line. What is that? I'm assuming that's from a movie, right?
That's from The Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
And it's Bart and Milhouse are actually, let's see if I can pull it up. Let's see. You are making a mocker. I can't spell mocker. You are making and I'll just say Simpsons, Bart, and Apu. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, I did it. Oh shit! I put it in the wrong search bar. I thought it was in the YouTube search bar. I was not. It brought me to Google. I mean, I'm gonna go with YouTube anyways. Just keep me in YouTube. Let's see here if I could find it. I can't find it. It's a great segment, though. I wish people clipped it more, but Apu's got some bad press right now. So basically, Apu's in there, and like they have it where you can get the Slurpees and you can fill it yourself. Or it was an ice cream thing. It was ice cream, and it was soft serve ice cream. In Bargain Millhouse, they had it where it was like a foot high on one ice cream cone.
Mm-hmm.
And then Apu just goes, "You're making a mockery of our self-serve policy."
Yeah.
So now when I think about like anytime it's like making I want to make a mockery of your self-serve policy. I want to have so much of it that you're like, shit. We
like
give to this guy all you can eat.
There was a. Go ahead.
There's another episode of The Simpsons where Homer sues a restaurant. He sues a seafood restaurant because they have an all-you-can-eat policy and they threw him out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, whenever I do some of these all-you-can-eat like plans, my goal is always to make them regret giving me all-you-can-eat, but it never happens because there's so much to do during the day. I can't sit there and like I have like a year-long subscription to Storyblocks.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to get my money out of that. I'll get close.
There's a like what you're talking about. There's a comedian, is John Panette. I don't know if you heard that, where he talks about going to the, I think it was a Chinese seafood buffet. Or maybe it was a Chinese buffet. And he talks about, the owner came out and talked with him. And when you're talking about the thing with Apu, that's the first thing I heard of. So, and you could probably Google, like, John Panette, Chinese buffet, or Chinese seafood buffet, or whatever it was, and listen to it. And it's kind of the same thing, but only a little bit more extreme, and a little more stereotyped.
Yeah, it's a lot of places like you never get your money's worth out of like a lot of these plans, because you're just not gonna go and like you'd have to sit there and devote your time to using it.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to do that. Everybody's got a life. They got stuff they got to do,
Except for with Mario 35. And then your life goes off.
Oh, yeah, but I did the same thing with Zelda. It's like I played that Zelda, and now they're re-releasing it with the new system, the new Switch 2. Do you hear the press the Switch 2 is getting? They say it was their PlayStation 3 moment.
No, I haven't followed anything with it. I don't know anything about the Switch 2, to be honest.
Okay, so the Switch 2 got announced like 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and the price point on it is $450 to get the system by itself. If you want to get the system with the new Mario Kart game, it's $500. And you go and say, well, geez, $50 just to get the Mario Kart game. The game probably $60 on its own. No, it's $80.
Jeez.
And they want $80 for digital games, and they want $90 for physical games.
Jeez.
There's one of the buttons on the new system. There's a new C button, and C is for chat, and the C button is useless unless you pay for their online service.
So
it's a useless button that you can't reprogram to do something else with. It's just there to get the money sucking button.
So hold on, Ben, I got to jump in here for a second. I really got to jump in here for a second, because I got to take us out into crossing the line into the, let's just stay the naughty zone here. So if the C button is what you press to talk, what do you do with your C stick?
There is no C stick. They cut your C stick off, man. That's why people don't like it. It's because they have no C stick, and they're like, "What am I supposed to play with?" Gosh darn it, all the heck. Yeah, it's getting so much bad press with that. It's just because remember when PlayStation 3 came out and the PlayStation 2 did so well, they went out there and they said the new PlayStation 3 is going to be $600, which, if you think about everything it could do, was actually a good price because it was an $800 machine, but people didn't see it that way compared to the $400 Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're doing here. They're like, we're charging $500. You mean the same as the big boys game console?
Mm-hmm.
Little Jimmy's going to play with the big boys? It's what it sounds like. It's like your little brother wants to go and play basketball with you. It's like, yeah, you're going to lose, kid. It's like you're charging the same amount as the big boys. You know that an Xbox Series X costs $500 and is way more powerful than whatever the Switch 2 is going to do.
Well, I think Nintendo is very good at doing that. Nintendo is very good at like making a system that's like, oh my gosh, this is like the most popular, best thing ever. And then they decide, well, the next system, we're just going to basically just crap all over it. Like
and they have a history of this. You're absolutely right, Mike. Look at the history. I mean, so you have Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. That's fine.
No,
and then
Nintendo 64 is kind of, it's kind of, it doesn't, it's pushing it. But yeah,
well, they did have a bit of hubris where they're like, well, we're going to stick with cartridges because people aren't ready for CDs. There are lines where they do say that people aren't ready for CDs. So there's a level of hubris there. But then it doesn't do so well. So the next system they do is the GameCube. The GameCube still kind of, I mean, it's remembered fine. Like I'm trying to take off my road-colored glasses here. It's hard to remember how it really was. The GameCube, it wasn't a failure, but it didn't set the world on fire.
Yeah.
Nothing set the world on fire until the Wii.
Yeah.
Then the Wii set the world on fire. I was working at GameStop, hiding behind boxes, but I had to tell a bunch of mothers that there was no Wiis in the shipment today.
Mm-hmm.
People were waiting. I had literally my GameStop became the perfect place for somebody who's into finding divorced moms. Because that's what I saw all day. It's like women hanging out. We became the hangout for moms because they're waiting for our UPS shipment. And then the Wii U came out and nobody knew what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wii U, isn't that an attachment for the Wii? Was it an upgrade for it? Because it flopped. There's still, other than the Virtual Boy, it's their worst selling system. Mm-hmm. And then they came back with the Switch. Mm-hmm. But now we're going into the Switch 2, which is going to be like the Wii U. It even rhymes.
Exactly.
It even rhymes. Switch 2, Wii U, boo-hoo.
Yeah, I mean, even if you go back to like the Game Boy, and then you have the Game Boy Color, and I don't even know if the Game Boy Color did all that well.
I didn't even go into the handheld shit. You're right. Yeah, because there was like Game Boy Color was like, yeah, okay, maybe if I wanted to replace my Game Boy, and then Game Boy Advance, and people were kind of into that, and then the DS came out, and I had a DS, and I think like I was one of the few people who kind of did. But then the 3DS.
DS was freaking huge, dude.
The 3DS was huge.
3DS too. Nintendo's good.
The DS, when it first came out, people were like, what the fuck is this? And the touchscreen wasn't really being used, and touchscreen sucked back then. This was back when like the iPhone wasn't really out yet, and then once the iPhone came out, it changed everything. But
the problem is that your competition was a PSP, and
you got like a portable PlayStation that's releasing Grand Theft Auto 3D Grand Theft Auto games that look almost as good. Well, at least on the small screen, they look almost as good as they did on the PlayStation 2.
The PSP did not do that well.
And no, it didn't. But you're still talking about like competing like technology wise.
Technology wise, yes. I'm just talking.
It was like this massive increase where Nintendo always did these incremental increases in their technology in their handheld.
Yeah.
Which saved them money, and they ran the market for years, showing that it's not just the technology. But here's the killer. They kept the prices low because they kept the technology kind of dated.
Yeah.
The Game Boy sold for $100 because it was using 8-year-old technology, and then and the Game Gear couldn't compete and it had to sell for 200 because it was using up-to-date technology. And it's like Nintendo always has this thing of, we're going to wait a little while and always be a generation behind on our power, and that's fine. But if you're going to be doing that still, you can't be charging what the guys who are on the current hardware are doing, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
trying. It's like if you went, it's like you have a Mustang, and I said, Mike, I love your Mustang. I want to buy your Mustang, and you said, okay, I'll sell you my Mustang for $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's how much a new one costs.
Yeah.
Why would
Well, I mean, with Nintendo,
what's Nintendo's doing? Even though it is new, the technology is still always behind the curve. So I might even think on the back. What's that? Go ahead.
then the problem here is that the technology is behind, but they have the firepower to make up for that. They have Mario, they have Zelda, they have Metroid. These are like huge names that have been around since the 80s, and they still somehow manage to just sell like hotcakes. You could put out Mario and Luigi scatting special, taking a dump on each other. It's still going to sell off the shelves.
Yes, and we've talked about this in the past. We had this exact conversation where they could put Mario's name on anything, and it's guaranteed to sell.
Yeah, and it's always going to do that. It's these are like, if you take some of the biggest video game characters, and I would actually even wonder if I could say Mario is probably the biggest and well-known of the whole bunch, even eclipsing things like Pac-Man at this point.
Mario eclipses Mickey Mouse.
True, yes.
They literally did a survey where they asked children, and the children recognized Mario, but more people recognize Mario than they recognize Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
So that tells you something right there, where Mario is in the culture. He's part of the culture now. People who don't even play video games, they know what Super Mario is.
Yeah.
When you get to that point, it's like people who don't watch wrestling know who Hulk Hogan is. That he's at that level where it's a what they call a household name.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Household name.
Okay.
So we've got anything else? Because I'm looking at the time here, and it's 12:48 a.m. on the East Coast.
I do have one more that I was gonna plug really quick, and I'll do this one really quick. And that, let me see if I still have the image of it up. Yes, I do. This was kind of a fun one to run into here. This one's actually a board game. This is a game called Russian Crush, and this I found this when I was, I've always been big into like AG racers, anti-gravity racers. And I kind of saw this, and it reminded me of Wipeout. And I stumbled onto this on a board game store that normally when you think of board games, you're looking at $60, $70, $80. They were selling this on clearance for, I believe it was $8. So I'm like, for $8 on a board game, I'm just going to roll the dice. So I picked it up, and I actually had a whole lot of fun with this. So what I did was I went and I bought another copy of it. So for $16, I now have double the tracks and double all the markers and double the ships. So I can now make this just a huge game for a fraction of what the actual cost was to buy just one copy before it went on clearance. And maybe sometime you and I, we could probably sit down and take this one for a test drive and see what you think. But I mean, that was just, it's not like the best game in my collection, but it was super cheap. And I actually managed to expand it for super cheap as well, too. So it made it definitely worth it. And I put some good time into this one.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, we could sit here all night and talk about like deals that we've got over the years. It's like just remembering them all. Like I could talk about my car. Oh, I get a good price on that. Or, it's like,
Yeah.
and there's people who, this is how they make money. They go, like, one of the channels that I watch on YouTube is this guy. He goes to thrift stores and he finds stuff and he looks at it on his phone. He finds stuff that's on sale and he flips it.
Yeah.
And like that PlayStation 3. I am not a dealer. I don't go in planning to sell anything. But once in a while I do find something and I'm like, ooh, maybe I can make something with this. Like today I found a pair of Sennheiser headphones for $8.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what model they are. I'm not an expert on headphones. I know a thing or two, but I'm not like anywhere like where I'd say take my word on it. But I do know that Sennheiser is a big name.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that, like, as soon as I saw them for $8, I'm like, even if these are cheap, they're probably worth like 3 or 4 times this amount.
Yeah.
So I still got to look them up. I got to take a picture of it and run it through the computer to tell me what model it is, because there's no model on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I have no idea how to look it up. I tried looking up Sennheiser headphones, and apparently they sell a lot of models. Because I'm like looking through, I'm like, none of these are the ones I have in my hand right now. And there's a ton of them, and I don't feel like sitting here all day looking through them all, Like, if this thing was like so expensive and was burning a hole in my pocket, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's find out what this is so I can get rid of it. But for $8, I'll look at it. I'll look into it tomorrow.
I'm kind of the opposite there, is that when I get something, I don't, even if it's something that I don't really need or use anymore, I never like selling things. It's just for some reason uncomfortable for me to sell something to somebody.
It depends on the transaction. If it's through eBay, I'm never going to see this person. It's a blind transaction. It's hard with friends, especially when you have it where the thing's been done or you've delivered and they haven't paid you yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see them a couple times.
Yeah.
And I keep waiting for them to bring it up, and then eventually I have to bring it up. If I bring it up, it's not going to be, I'm going to try to make it as polite as I can be, but I don't care how polite I am, you're still going to think I'm an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I hate doing like business with people, like with friends. It's really hard to do sometimes because some people, you got to learn how to keep business separate from personal.
Mm-hmm.
And some people have a lot of problems doing that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can, like, there's some people I don't mind working with, but I'm not friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm friendly, but I'm not friends with them. And they're not friends with me, but we work together and we make this work because we have to.
Yeah.
But there's also people who I'm friends with who I don't work well with because we just talk the whole time or we get nothing done, It's business and pleasure are 2 different things, and people who go on like, oh, of course he's going to work. We're best friends. That doesn't mean shit. What if he's a horrible business person and you're good at business and you see him making horrible decisions and all of a sudden you correct him on something he did wrong and all of a sudden it causes a fight? Or you never been like this before. The money's changing you, man, or something like that. It's like that.
See, for me, I don't know. I think of like eBay and things like that, and that actually kind of makes me a little more uncomfortable because of the fact that you don't know the person. So you don't know how they're going to react or if they're even trustworthy at all.
Yeah, but you also don't have to worry about pissing them off because you don't have to deal with these people. It's like if you sold something to me and you had a bad business transaction, that could ruin our friendship.
Yeah.
It really could. But if me and Joe Schmo over here have a bad business transaction, we might see each other on the street in 2 days and not have any idea that these are who we're talking to.
So on that note, Ben, would you like to buy some of my bathwater? Really cheap.
Well, me and you have done business together. That's actually how this whole thing started, was over the Xbox, where I sold you my Xbox. And we negotiated over a price. We came to a fair price between the two of us. And at the end of the day, I don't think either one of us was unhappy with the transaction other than the fact that you deleted everything that I did on there.
I didn't delete everything that you did on there.
You deleted all my hard work. I threw all these hours into this.
I didn't. I improved on it.
I don't care. Once I sold it, it's yours. Do whatever you got to do with it. It's like if you wanted to take it and say, "Yeah, great, I wanted to make a video where I show how to destroy an Xbox."
No, actually, it's Matt that destroyed
I would have gone over it. Because at the end of the day, it's yours.
That was Matt that destroyed the Xbox in the end. I think what we were doing was trying to make sure that the whatever it was that leaked mercury in the clock was not in there, and something happened, and then the Xbox just stopped working. But it still got a lot of play out of it, and I think it's just funny that I got it, and it's like Ben's Xbox, and the first thing I did was renamed it to Ben No More's Xbox.
That's because all my stuff is named that. I don't know what to name it. I'm sure there's people who come up with fancy names for all their components. I'm not going to sit there and like my mom's first car. She named it. She's a woman.
Yeah,
from Europe.
I've named all my guitars and basses and everything.
Oh, I named my guitar. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like naming your boat. Those are okay to name, but you're not gonna I'm not gonna name my game console or name my computer. Like my Mac is called Ben's Mac M4 because I had an M1 and I had to tell the difference between the two when I was switching the stuff over.
I need to pull a lot of names from like video games. Like I've named my computers like Sanctuary, and I've named some drives. I had one. I think one of the drives going into PS3 was the Velvet Room, and then I had Star Road for the other drive. I've done the Magic Box for external drives. I've done the Fat Chocobo for external drives. But actually, no. Now that I mention it, I don't know if you know this one, Ben, but talks about naming things. So my Steam Deck, I've hooked up a whole bunch of drives to it. And have I told you the names of the drives that are hooked up to the Steam Deck?
I think you did, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay, so I'm going to pass the names by you, and let me see when you figure out where I got these names from. I'm going to do it from the most obscure ones to where it becomes more obvious what they are. So I have one memory card or one SD card that's hooked up to it. It's kind of just a test SD card. Right now it's called Shira. Do you want to try to figure out what I name them after at this point, or should I go to the next one?
It was called Shira?
Shira, yes.
You mean the Princess of Power?
No, not Shira, Shira.
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
Okay, so we'll go to the next one. The other memory card that's attached to it is called Nautilus.
Nautilus. I know that's from a game. I can't remember which one. Is that from Mass Effect?
Was that your final guess?
Yeah.
Your final guess is Mass Effect. You want to go this? I've got like 8 more to go through or something like that, or 6 more to go through, and you want to take a final guess right now?
Are they all from the same thing?
They're all from the same thing, yes.
Oh, I get you. Okay, no, keep going.
Okay. So the next one that's attached is another SD card, is named Blackjack. Want to guess or keep going?
Keep going.
Okay. Another SD card that's attached is called Invincible. And there's a reason why when I tell you what this is from, you'll be like, oh, interesting, because that also ties into it. You want me to keep going?
Keep going.
Okay, next one is one of my external drives. It's named Falcon. Keep going?
Mm-hmm. I'm getting an idea, though.
Okay. Shall I keep going, or do you want to guess?
Star Fox?
Is that your final guess?
No,
or you only get one guess.
What's that?
You only get one guess.
Oh, you didn't say it? Okay, go ahead. Keep going then.
Okay. The next external drive is named is named Enterprise.
This wouldn't be named after Star Trek if you don't like Star Trek.
That's a good point. So it's probably not Star Trek. I'll give you that. hint at least. Want to guess or keep going?
Halo?
Is that your final guess?
Keep going.
Okay. The next one is called, next sectorial drive is called Fahrenheit.
It doesn't matter what I guess because I'm not sure on anything.
Okay. Well, it's going to get easier.
Okay.
The next one is called High Wind.
Okay.
Okay, so that brings us to the final name, which is the name of the Steam Deck itself, is named Big Whale. It could also be known as Lunar Whale. And if you don't know what it is, then you're never going to guess it at this point.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, so let's talk about these.
And this sucks because you told me all this when I was there seeing you. So you went over this whole thing. You went over all the names and you told me what it's from, and I don't remember any of it.
The Invincible is from Final Fantasy III and Final Fantasy IX, two airships. The Shira, Final Fantasy VII airship at the end. The Nautilus is also an airship that also turns a submarine in Final Fantasy III because it's based off of the...
See, when you said Nautilus, I thought of the airship, but I started thinking of Mass Effect for some reason because I'm like, I think it's from some sci-fi game, isn't it? And the first one was either Halo or Mass Effect.
Well, Nautilus also is from I think it's Moby Dick.
Oh, that's why they have the big whale. Okay.
The Falcon, you'll find that one in both Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI. Blackjack is in Final Fantasy VI. Fahrenheit, and this is why I put this towards the end, is this airship in Final Fantasy X. The Enterprise you'll find in Final Fantasy IV, and I don't remember what other one. I know it's in another one. And High Wind is very well known for being in Final Fantasy VII. And then Big Whale, also Lunar Whale, is the big ship that you're going to find in Final Fantasy IV that travels to the moon. Now, what's ironic about this is all the airships are things that will get you from one place to another. They just happen to be on the Steam Deck, which is highly portable. That's how my mind thinks.
Okay.
And with that, I don't know if we have anything more to say. Do you have anything else to add?
Not really. Folks, remember to go and check out our store. We have a ton of designs. So many designs. And it's a great place to check out. And if you buy stuff from there, you end up helping support the show, which would be greatly appreciated.
And if you get a good deal on our shirts, definitely leave us a message and tell us.
Yeah, and do the social media thing where you like take pictures of yourself wearing our stuff and you tag us. And if we see you and you tag us, we'll put you in our Instagram story or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, for you.
People have a little segment where we show off our people that wore our shirts.
Yeah, I wish I was like more into doing social media. I used to be. Like when me and you met, I was so into social media, and like I just got like I just had it kind of beaten out of me.
Yeah, I totally understand.
It's like I just don't care anymore. It's like I really should pay more attention to it. I really should do more stuff for our social media, and I don't. And I wish I did. Like, also, I was doing like even my stuff for work. I barely do the social media stuff for there I was supposed to do, which isn't much. I have to go and like I have to check numbers and fill out a spreadsheet, which is so exciting. You can tell why I don't want to do it.
I mean, my Instagram, I laugh whenever I see someone like add me as they start following me. I'm like, why are you following me? I have put 0 pictures ever up on my Instagram. I only have my profile picture, and that's it.
I'm trying to remember the name of a movie. If people hear me click it, like literally me clicking around the internet trying to remember the name of this damn movie. The Bonfire of Vanity. That's what I'm looking for.
Which one?
A Bonfire of Vanities. It's a movie that's banned.
Gotcha. So maybe we'll watch it in a future episode.
That's why I've been getting it. It's literally like they spent $8 million on one shot of a. What were those airplanes that they don't use anymore? That can go from England to New York in like 2 hours.
Are you talking like Concorde, maybe?
Yes, the Concorde. There's a scene of a Concorde jet landing with the sun setting behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and they said it cost $8 million to make that shot happen. So, and this movie is available on YouTube, but it'll never be on a streaming service. I forget why, but I was just watching a movie and it's got a decent cast. But I was watching a video talking about movies that are, because we did the Song of the South. So I'm like, what other movies are in that category of movies that will probably never be shown again?
Yeah.
And one of them is The Crying Game, which I ended up ordering because The Crying Game, even though nobody wants to see it now, when it came out, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And that has to do with there's a twist ending to it, which if you've ever seen Ace Ventura Pet Detective, you know what the twist ending is because that's where Ace Ventura got it from.
Gotcha.
So, but I ordered that movie because I'm like, I want to start getting movies that are not, that people, you're not seeing other reviews of. Because that seems to be kind of a niche that we seem to do well in.
Yeah.
Because like the episode where we talk about Song of the South, we didn't clip it because it's Song of the South.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to get killed here. But so we didn't clip it. The people are listening to the full episode, and because I put a timestamp in for it, I can see that they are actually clicking on the timestamp just to listen to that review.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the review's over, they're out, and I could see that. So that's telling me that there's a thirst for people to get reviews for these movies that you normally wouldn't get reviews of because they're controversial.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Like, The Crying Game is not controversial because it's racist. It's controversial because people consider it transphobic.
Yeah.
So this is an example. It's not always going to be Song of the South-ish.
Well, I'm still, just want to let you know, I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that we're going to see a Cruel Intentions clip that's just, it doesn't even have to be a Cruel Intentions review, just Cruel Intentions Mike rant.
I did think about that, and that might come out this week because there's not much else for me to do. Like I'm gonna be doing like the full video, and then you doing the money saving thing. That is, I'm kind of taking a week off a little bit because it's like, last week was a lot.
Dude, don't forget we got the news, we got the money saving, and we got the mix of Mike Dicks in this one.
Oh yeah, so you still gave me a lot to do.
I did give you a lot, and you're very welcome of that. So much for your break.
I'll get most of it done probably throughout the week.
Well, I think like the news and the saving money is kind of easy.
Well, the saving money is the one that has to be done first because that's time sensitive.
Exactly.
Where the other one is like, okay, if you're a little behind on hearing this news, like, it's not like this is like, that's not front and center on U.S. news and what's going on with BINI.
although it does get a lot of hits. So
yeah.
So all of you out there, you're learning the secrets to the BM show. So congratulations. You're right now you're getting the behind the scenes look for free that only our VIP members normally get.
So next week I'm going to have like the most loaded day. I literally have to ask in my meeting tomorrow if we're getting Monday off, which I think we are. Because I'm going to be just utterly shot next Sunday because I have Easter. First I have Easter services at church. Then I actually have the holiday with my family.
Yeah.
And then it's WrestleMania weekend. And I'm like, the fuck? Don't you people usually not do holiday weekends?
And then you have a BM date with me.
And then I have the show after.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm going to be utterly fucking shot that day. Because there's so much going on. I have so many things to do. And my dad's visiting. So it's not like I could just, not like I can't just go to Easter dinner.
So just to let you guys know, everybody listening right now, if you made it this far, if the show is delayed, then That just means that Ben had a little too much to do, but we'll get it up as soon as we can. So we may, who knows, we may not end up recording it on our normal time. We may have to wait a day or so. So just be patient with us if that happens.
I mean, it's a holiday. The fact that we're doing a show at all, it's like, most places they take off. And well, we're taking a week off. Have a great holiday. We'll see you after on the other side. Or
yeah, but just, you can always let me know if you're overwhelmed that day, and we can just push it to like the next day or something.
Oh, I might need it after the day. I don't know.
Yeah, just keep me posted. So on that note, I think we need to finish this episode. So I'm actually going to get the last word this time. And this special message goes out to our biggest commenting fan. I just want to say, first off, thank you for your comment this week. It really meant a lot. And to sum it up, this episode was cool.
Yeah.